This
I
conference will now be recorded.
I'm very much thankful for giving me this opportunity to share some of my views on digital learning with you. First of all, I want to introduce myself, Dr. Padmavati, Department of HOD Department of KGR Krishnamal College for Women, Coimbatore. Today, Department of Hindi and General Library, we are joining, and we are coordinating this NDLI Club, National Digital Library Club. Are you all able to? Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Very much.
Yes. Please, all of you, please switch off your audio so that afterwards we can have a introductory session. Okay, all of you, please switch off your audio. So, I first of all render my hearty thanks to our management, Chairperson Dr. Nandini Rangasamy Madam, our Secretary Ma'am Dr. Yashoda Devi, and Principal Ma'am Dr. Nirmala Ma'am for giving me this opportunity to have this interaction with you in this webinar. Actually, this is all of us known. We cannot deny the fact that we are in this digital world of learning. We have to actually we have to make it more effective, and we have to take it to the next level. For that, we have to make this learning effective. We have to do a lot of things. Already we have started, but it is just a start. All of us now we are doing our digital learning work through the platforms which we have in our college, or through the Google Learning, or whatever it is available for us, we are having. But the main thing is how far effectively we are doing, and what are the goals for achieving this digital learning to the and whether the goals are measurable. So these are all the million-dollar questions, and unless and until we understand, or unless and until we have a definite actually analysis over all these things and come out with a proper plan, we cannot say that our digital learning will be a perfect one. So to achieve the digital learning on the national basis and take our learners to the world of the global digital world, what we have to do at the grassroots level, we are going to discuss about it. Okay, so I take this opportunity to share with you these views, and what is this transitional phase from traditional learning to digital learning, how we have to achieve. For this, we have to understand. I am just having 3 parts in my session. First thing, we have to understand our ancient system of learning, and the traditional system. I have incorporated this British Western system of learning also, and the next system of learning which we are going to which is the main focus of this session, is the digital learning. So I'm going to discuss about certain things for us to understand, or for us to achieve the goals ahead in the digital learning. First, we have to basically understand what is the education and the learning. So education is the process of imparting knowledge, values, skills, and attitudes which can be beneficial to an individual. And on the contrary, the learning is the process of adopting knowledge, values, and skills. So, see, whatever we are doing, education, we are imparting to the, see, we are actually having the assessment system also nowadays. So this assessment system, we are teaching to somewhat 60 to 65 students in a class, and we are teaching the same unit 1, unit 2, unit 3. We are teaching them. We are giving them internal test. We are teaching 65 students in the same way, and we are giving all the supporting materials, and apart from that we are giving them assignments, seminars, group discussion and whatnot. And many cases we do the role plays and many things. We have developed the modules of our own, and we are doing everything to make the learning a very effective one. None of that is in our system itself. So apart from all these things, providing all these things, are we able to achieve the required goal of education and learning? It is the $1,000,000 question. First of all, we have to address this. Unless and until we address this issue, and unless and until we address, or we understand the basic concept of education and learning, whatever we do in the digital learning, that cannot be effective. And the main questions which are put when we discuss about the digital learning is, so if the digital learning is incorporated into the society, so will the role of the teacher just vanish, or will the teachers be unimportant, or will they be discarded? So all these things are the questions, but it actually, what my answer for this question is, it depends upon how we approach or how we use this tool of digital learning. See, if we make the students do the digital learning on their own, okay, you submit your assignment or whatever I have told in the class, that is done. So I have completed this unit, that unit. Okay, my work is over. Okay, you find out all these things, bring on assignment, do you get the data's informations, do your case studies, do your internship, whatever not there, you do everything on your own. Use the digital, so the digital learning is over. So if we put the thing like that, definitely the digital learning will be another ritual. See, a very eminent academician, Dr. Malcolm Adiseshaya, has told once that self-learning is the best method of learning. So this digital learning actually helps in self-learning. So do we mean that when we talk about self-learning or digital learning, will the role of a teacher in the classroom vanish? Will the teacher become inactive in the class? No. Now the teacher has a different role if the teacher understands, he or she the basic concept of education and learning. And if we are able to understand these basic things, definitely our role will be modified, or it will go to the next level as facilitator. So we will be facilitating. First we will teach them, we will give them. Please put your audio off, so that I will complete my session. The new people who are joining you, I will complete. Please put your audio off so that I can continue, please. So this education is the process of imparting knowledge, values. So knowledge without values and skills become a waste. And when the student completes the school education, or if he completes higher education, gets the degree, does the research, gets PhD, this thing, that thing, has so many articles published in the journals. So what is the use if it doesn't change the attitude of the learner towards the learning and towards the society. Because at last, the education and learning, it is only for the benefit of the society. So, of course, we talk about the individual, it should be the primary one. But all the individuals, as an individual, he will be doing a favor for his family, and all the families constitute the society. And he has his role to contribute toward the society as a committed individual or committed citizen. But when the education is this thing, the learning is the process of adapting knowledge. So whatever I am telling in the class, if the doctor gives medicine, same medicine to all types of fevers, it will become a waste, or it will actually end in a havoc. So you have to see, the Thiruvalluvar has told, "Noi naadi, noi mudal naadu, adi thanippa vayanadi." So then only the doctor will be, the if all of us can go to some medicines are available in the pharmacies, we can go there, get all the medicine. We know the such medicine, paracetamol or this thing or that thing, we can easily get. In India, we don't have a restriction for it, but it will, if we take medicine for the wrong disease, and if we diagnose on our own, what will happen? So that is the thing which will happen to the digital earth. So here the doctor knows what the learner requires, in what way the learning has to be made, and what are all the things that should be done to eradicate the problems or the hindrances which the learners face in the digital learning. So the student, please switch off your audio, please. So the learning is knowledge gained through experience, and education is knowledge gained through teaching. We have two systems of traditional knowledge or learning. One is ancient Indian system of learning, and the other is Western system of learning. So this ancient system of learning, all of you know, we have Gurukulam system of education, and in this ancient system of learning itself, the structure of institution, what is that institution? That is Gurukulam, all of us know. Where Guru is the head, and he is the only one administrator in that Gurukulam. And the entire institution or the Gurukulam runs only under his guidance. So whatever words he say, that is the final one. So all these things happen. But in that Gurukulam, all the all the people cannot join in that Gurukulam, because the society had that Varnashrama Dharma. Only specific Varna people can join in the Gurukulam. And the administration, it is taken over by the Guru. He has the discriminatory power of admitting the students, and actually, and for that he has his own guidelines. So another thing is, it is generally supported by the society or the royal funds. Okay, from the government supports the Gurukulams. And apart from Gurukulams, all of us know about Gurukulams. So if a student or the disciple or Shishya goes to the Gurukulam, he gets education from the Guru, and the Guru has his own way of teaching, and he has devised his own way of thing. And one thing actually was a great provoking thing for him, that I came across one story of Zen. One disciple went to the Zen Guru. Please switch off your audio so that I can continue. The thing is, the disciple went to that Zen Guru and asked. He was a very great Zen Guru, and everyone was interested to get admission under his guide. So this particular disciple was very adamant to join this guru. He went to that guru and pleaded him, and finally this guru told, okay, you become my disciple. So the first day class he went, he sat before the guru, and from the morning 6 o'clock till 2 o'clock, both of them were sitting. Guru was sitting on the altar, and this Shishya was sitting on the ground. And what happened is, this guru, what he did is, he didn't speak anything to the Shishya, and he was supposed to be the very best guru of those age. And he was just seeing one tree, and that tree was moving, the birds were flying, the river was flowing, the breeze, suddenly heavy breeze, so everything was just moving. So all these things happened. So what this Shishya did is, he was just doing whatever, wherever this guru saw, this Shishya also noticed that place. A bird is flying, he saw the bird flying. And he had, why this guru is seeing that bird, he was thinking why that bird is flying. So after 1 week the thing went like that. So after 1 week, this Shishya thought, why am I wasting my time in this? See, this guru is not teaching me anything. He is not speaking at all. Every day he is coming, sitting before me, taking me to different places, seeing different things, and I am also seeing those things, and he is not speaking anything. He is not explaining me why this guru is doing like this. Why he is supposed to teach me many things, but he is not doing. Why? So finally he asked the guru himself, see Guruji, I have so much regards for you. Why did you do this to me? See, I had so many plans. I thought that I can do so much after joining under your as a disciple under your guidance, and finally you have disappointed me. Then the guru told, your education is over. So these 7 days your education is once. See, because you have lost faith in me, then there is no point in teaching you. Then he pleaded, no, no, I have committed a mistake. Please, you tell me why you did like this. Then the guru becomes affectionate towards him, because as a guru, he adores the student and he is compassionate towards the student. He told, don't worry, I will help you. I will explain you why I did like this. Then you can know why, you can know many things. See, all these days, I did, I saw many things. When I saw the river, what did you think? When I also saw Guruji. When you stared at one river, I also stared at that river, and I thought that from where did this river rose, and what is the originating place of this, and how it originates, and what will happen if rain comes, and where this river will go, and what will happen if the rain comes, and what will happen if the rain doesn't come, what will happen if, see, all these questions arose in my mind. Then guru told, yes, you are educated. See, you wanted me to explain all these things. You have started thinking on your own. So you are educated as far as river is concerned. So likewise, in every aspect, I got so many questions. And so all these 7 days, I have taught you so many things. You innovate, you do research, you will come out very good results, which even I cannot give you. You can come out with a better results. If I teach you anything, I'll be teaching you only one thing. But if you innovate, if you think, if you do research on it, you can come out with many things. So this was the approach of the ancient learning. So now I think I have come to the focus of what should be the focus of this digital learning. So what in today's scenario, what we have to do is, we have to, as the facilitator, though during those times, teachers, they were teachers, gurus were teachers, as well as they were facilitators also. So we have to do this facilitating work in the digital learning. So first of all, we have to think, we have to make it clear for us that we are not teachers alone. We have better things to do. Our work is not confined only to completing this unit 1, unit 2, unit 3. It's not that alone. So we have to make the students more innovative. We have to make them thinking. Definitely when we do this, students will remember us forever. They will not forget. So that happened in those times. So that is those are all the value. For that only I'm explaining you the ancient way of teaching. We should never underestimate our ancient values or ancient systems. Always we should have our roots intact. The tree can grow very well. It can have its strong branches only if the roots are strong. So, what are ancient structure of institutions? After this Gurukulams, the parishads come, and there the academics, it is taking place to the next level. There, that is the council of thing, and sammelans, conferences, they were organized those days, and the special instructions for the promotion of advanced study and research was Brahma Sangha those days. So what was there? Now I told you about the pedagogy and the approach of those time. Now what was the assessment system? So everything has to be, the learning has to be assessed. So what was the assessment system? So as soon as the guru completes one particular portion of his teaching, so he becomes the sole administrator, and all the methods were devised by him. And it was generally supported by public fund, and the curriculum was mainly on the basis of Vedas, Upanishads, Dharma, Shastras, etc., Sutras, etc. And the important sources of learning were Itihasa, Anvishiki, Mimamsa, all these things. They had their own, they have devised their own curriculum and sources of learning. And what were the methods of learning? So this learning method, because those days there were no books or hard copies, no Xeroxes were available, no digital thing. So the main methods of learning were Shravana, Manana, Chintana, Nidhyasana. So Shravana, because all the suktas or whatever lessons they were taught, it were in the either dohas or couplets or sonnets or padas, like that. So like that they had, and they were easy to memorize. Tamil Kural, the Venba, and the Madri. So they had their own thing because it was easy to memorize. And all these things were actually transmitted or actually transferred to the other learners also. So the Shravana, they listened from the Guru, and Manana, they memorized. And that Shravana and Manana, they were not actually what our students are doing nowadays. They just, okay, all these portions we have to memorize. We have to just write it in the board exams. We have to get more marks. For 2 marks, so many lines. For 5 marks, so many lines. We have to memorize. We have to write. It was not like that. So Manana was memorizing, and they memorized it in the after understanding. And then why they had to understand this? After Manana, they have to do Chintana. Chintana is thinking. And after that, the entire system of education was based on Nidhyasana to achieve the knowledge of liberation or moksha. So that was the aim of those days. And it was the aim of ancient system of learning was to achieve the physical development, mental development, and apart from that, the development of the soul, which actually emerges as the overall development of a person. And then assessment method, guru and pupil worked together as a group, and they were put there, whatever they have learned or whatever they have taught, that was that they had to exhibit before the learned community or the royal community. So pupils learning and understanding debated or shastrartha organized each step of learning. After they complete, the student completes, Samavartana was organized. That was actually the present day's convocation system. The student was a disciple or Shishya was declared as a learned person after getting this Samavartana. Okay, so what are all the salient features of Gurukula system? Staying with Guru and bondage between Guru and Shishya, and equality among students. See, though there was a caste system, maybe due to the infrastructural facility or the Varnashrama Dharma, the limited number of students were only admitted, and generally they were of the higher Varnas. And but the equality was adapted among the students, and Shishya's involvement in the day-to-day course of household was insisted, because they had to live it. Even it was the Rajkumara or the from the royal children, they had to be like an ordinary children, and they have to live with the Guru. Guru played the role of the father, and Guru Mata, his wife, she became the mother of the children, and other children of Guru or other disciples, they become the Guru Bhai or sisters. So in this way they lived in the family system, and they, after completion of the education, and they come back, generally that is called, that phase is called as a brahmacharya. And after the completion of the brahmacharya, they enter into the grahastha, and by the time they enter into the grahastha, they become the full-fledged individual who can face the challenges of life, who can support their family. Please switch off your audio. Then actually they can take care of their family, they can take care of their livelihood, so everything that will go on. So by the end of this brahmacharya, Guru makes the student involvement in social life a better one. And this transformation of disciples into people with good character and knowledge, that actually that is ensured by the Guru. And important institutions of higher learning were Nalanda, Takshashila, Vikramashila, Ujjaini, Varadari. Many institutions of higher learning were there. And what are all the importance of these higher learning? For example, for in Nalanda, it is famous for fine arts, medicine, mathematics, astronomy, politics, arts of many things. And facilities, what were there in this type of universities? It is 9-story library, dormitories for students, 10,000 students, and 2,000 professors. Then students from all parts of the world. It was an actually international university. And pass percentage, don't think that everyone can pass. So pass percentage is just 20 to 38%. So all these things we can see in our ancient universities. And Takshashila was famous for medicine, and Ujjain was famous for astronomy. So in this way, so what happens is we have different specialized university system also. So as a mark of completion of education, Samavartana, a convocation was conducted in all these universities. So Vikramshila and Nalanda was destroyed by Bakhtiyar Khilji, and all these universities actually ended by 12th century. Their destruction ended with the loss of ancient knowledge. And the disadvantages, child leave their home. Actually they say, but they enter into another home where they are taken care of by the family. So Varnashrama Dharma and caste system was there. So only limited people were given education. And females, and nowadays also we can see, unless and until we take care, when we talk about the digital system, not the digital learning is approachable for all the students. So in this way, our present digital scenario is on par with the ancient system of this Varnashrama or Gurukula system, where only few people could afford this education. So in this way, so now our aim is to work towards a comprehensive plan so that this type of barrier in digital learning is overcome. So actually females were not admitted. So then Guru's words were final. So Guru's words are why, then what is wrong in that? Yes, it is correct as far as Guru's words are correct. We have seen the Gurus have been prejudiced also, as in the case of Dronacharya and Ekalavya. So even now we can see that type of prejudiced thing. We get reports like that. So that should not be there. So for that we can have an example of Dushyant Kumar's work, Ek Aur Dronacharya. So that all these things should be eradicated from present system also to make it more strong. So education was limited to few students of us, a few sections of society. And after that ancient system of learning, a new system of learning institutional setup was given by the British system of learning. That is levels of schools education. What we follow is pre-primary, primary, secondary, higher secondary. And what we can see is this. Now we follow the Macaulay system of education, um, and most of it is actually replaced. But what are all the salient features and what is the main idea of this Macaulay system? Macaulay system actually focused only on the uh, creating clerks and subordinates for the English officers. So that the system was constituted only. So, but we don't want that type of system now. We want more innovators, more skilled people, more because we in our population, though our population is a negative thing for us, we are in a positive side also because we have more young people, more workforce, young workforce. So we have to channelize it. We have to harness its potential so that our digital learning or our we can become the superpower or global leader in the education sector also. So what are all the different aspects of higher education? So organizational structure and governance in higher education, or we have university structure, college structure, and various institutions of higher education and research we have, and administration involved in higher education goals we have. We get notifications, we receive, we work on the basis of the guidelines of UGC, MHRD. So we have people working for us. We have people to frame policies. We have people to give us directions. So now we have what we have to do is we expect more things so that this digital learning plan can become more effective. So what we have to do is already we have the traditional system of education. Now we have that we have started adapting this digital learning also. We are encouraging our students to submit even their assignments through the digital platforms. But all these things, we have various disciplines, humanities, science, technology, medicine, engineering, finance, everything is there. And we have the advantage of Western system of learning in India. So what happens is we get top class universities and boards. We get free compulsory education up to the age of 14, and all these things are aimed at the employability. So you ask any child who is entering into the preschool, what will you become? I'll become a doctor. I'll become an engineer. I'll become so. So all of them are mainly, of course, that is very important for it. So apart it, but it is not the one and only goal of education. So employability is one important factor for the in the field of education, but it is not the one and only factor. So Apart from employability, students should be motivated towards the entrepreneurship. They should be motivated to become the service provider. They should be motivated to become more active stakeholders in the construction of the healthy society. So that should be the aim of our future India. So disadvantages of a Western system of learning in India. Students have lost their connection with their ancient roots due to the lack of uniform education policy and infrastructural facilities. Updation of curriculum is not made. A student who has completed his higher secondary in the village, he cannot get through the he says publicly that I cannot do on par with the student who is more accessible or who is more privileged. So they say, so this type of inequality should be eradicated from the society. So the opportunities of learning should be made uniform, and that can be made uniform only through the digital learning, through the proper devising of plans and proper restructuring of the digital age. Unless and until we do these two things, we cannot achieve this goal of making the uniform digital accessibility to the learners. Then comparatively less focus is given on the character building, etiquette and mannerisms of at the school, which is reflected in the real life. Homeworks, assignments or projects are not fun, and they are awe-inspired. They are not awe-inspiring. They become very tedious and stressful. So digital learning, what they do, the students submit the assignments or whatever work is projects, or they complete their internship, whatever is given, that has started becoming ritual. So, and that we should not allow that to become a ritual. That should become more productive. So for that we have to devise the digital platforms and reorient it in such a way that that helps us. All the digital platforms should help our learners. So the NDLA actually focuses our aims in that. So we have so many books in the NDLA portal. Open access books are there. The metadata in the NDLA is devised in such a way that all these contents are easily accessible for the learners. As the NDLA club in PHJR Krishnamal College for Women, we have experimented it, and we have found that students take active part when they are given, when they are asked to do the work or activities based on the digital content. They do very nicely. So this we have experienced, and uh, then out of our experience, I can confirmly say that definitely it will work. And if we can work together and we can frame a common system, or we can, or a flexible system, depend, and which we can the changes we can incorporate from time to time, then definitely we can make this digital learning a pleasant one, a very productive one, and we can make the students all over India to join together. Even from Kashmiri student can join with a student from Tamil Nadu, and he can also go with this type of collaborative work is also possible if we make a device proper planning, and if we devise a proper system. So lesser focus on overall development of students, it is the Western system. See, students, because the basis of the British system of education is itself like that, so we can expect only that from that. So we have to eradicate that. So we should have a digital vision, which is already given by our former president, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam ji. So technology and knowledge would play an important role in value addition to our core competence of natural and human resources. A must for achieving our vision of 2020, that is of sustained development. So this sustained development we should aim. So the focus areas for today's learners, what it should be. So what we should do, just it should not, as I told you before, it should not, the learning should not become a ritual alone. So more emphasis should be given on creativity, original thinking, research and innovation. The students should be encouraged to do all these things. So for that, so in this context, I would like to emphasize the role of the teacher as a facilitator. So the teacher only can help the student to, or the teacher only can identify the power or which is hidden in the students, and he can only motivate the student towards this direction. The focus on skill based education. So unless and until the student becomes skilled, he cannot face his real life challenges. So first of he has to earn, he has to contribute to the society through his skills. So through his skills only he can become an entrepreneur, or he can guide the students, guide the society, or he can be useful for his family. Anything, it is based on skills only. So exposure to smarter learning aids. Here the problem, another problem comes. Are our poorest students there, are they accessible to this type of smarter learning aids? This is $1 million question. They are not accessible. Even the connectivity is not there. The students morning session we had one of our staff complaining about the connectivity. Students they were not able to reach. So this is the main problem which we have. So when we plan for the digital learning or in India, we have to see, we have to ensure that connectivity reaches everywhere, and massive technological and content based support. See, we have students, learners from different regions, different states, different knowledge level, and different background. So now we have contents. So if you want any for example, if you want the student to learn this Newton's third law, Pascal's theorem, or titration, or whatever it may be, everything is available in the website. But whether the student who is learning in a remote village of India, who knows only his mother tongue, or who knows only his regional language, can and can he understand the uh, all the contents which are in English, may mostly in English. So we have many things which are translated in Google. It is available, but not everything is available. And another problem in translation, we get very wrong translations also there. So that is the different question. The quality of the content, that should also be put into the debate. So whether we are able to give achieve this, provide this massive technological and content based support to our digital learners, that is $1 million question. For this, what we have to do is we have to set up the digital platforms along with the academicians, along with the scientists, along with the other sections of the people, experts from different disciplines, different subjects, and we have to see that we have to devise the websites or digital platforms in such a way that all these learning aids, at least the high school level learning, and at least basics of the college level learning, that is provided in their regional languages. So that we have to ensure. Okay, but it's a very difficult task, and it cannot be done in a night or months or a year. But for that, we have to draft and work together. Type of streamlining is required. Okay, then digital learning and education tools. All of you know very well what are all the learning that is accompanied by technology, or instructional practice that makes effective use of technology. So whatever we use, that is and many education tools are used. Edmodo, Socrates, everything is available. Everyone is using according to their subject and according to their requirement. And nowadays this Google Classroom, Zoom, Google Hangouts, all these things, Google Meet, whatever you go to meetings, many things, no, these are only coming to our help to interact or to make our learning process, to take our learning process to the next levels. So salient feature of digital learning, it is actually student centered. So mainly we think about student only, because unless and until student understands this, digital learning cannot become effective. So flexible progression. So the student can take his own time, everything, the time, the place, the way he wants to. And another thing I want to insist is whenever we devise this type of digital platforms for the Indian learners, so what we have to do is at the level of planning, devising itself, we have to take it, classify it according to the categories, or make 3 categories for slow learners. For the learner level should be always be taken into consideration, and the planning and devising of the content should be presented in such a way that it caters to the needs of all levels of learners. Then flexible progression is there, then multisensory simulation is there. It's very important feature of digital learning, because what I want to emphasize is, I will not say that only the traditional way of teaching is good, or only the digital way of learning is good. It is not like that. Virtual learning, it may help, but it is not the one only one. It may be an option for the higher and research oriented studies, but for the school and college level studies, we this a blended mode of education system is a very important thing, wherein we have the traditional practices as well as we take the technological support. And in what way it helps is, one on one side the learners have this teacher or the facilitator, on the other side they have the digital support which caters to the needs of their senses. They can see, they can hear, they can actually that involves, they have the involvement of all their senses. And then facilities, actually it facilitates the collaborative live study. So, and as I told you, this can be utilized, or if we go in the correct direction, what we can do is we can ask the students to have the collaborative study with one part of the student in India can in fact have the collaborative study with the other part of the student. So in this way we have to plan. If we plan, maybe it cannot happen now, it we have to think in that way, and then learners construct. And then what are all the goals ahead to enhance intra and transdisciplinary studies, then to eradicate the lack of accessibility of learning resources to poor students and village students, then to popularize eco-friendly usage of digital contents and reduce deforestation, then to explore and apply our ancient knowledge for sustained modern healthy living, then to help in overall development of learners, to empower them to contribute for global community. So all these goals are ahead of us. And to achieve these goals, what are all the factors that influence the digital learning in India? First thing is, we don't have access to internet and devices by the students. So lack of digital infrastructure in the institutions, and that is a very big problem. And linguistic barrier among the learners, because most of our learners don't know English and they are not competent with it. So we have to address to this type of problem by incorporating more and more learning materials in their regional languages. Then economic disparities among the learners, then bandwidth irregularities in some areas. So for to overcome all these things, what is the comprehensive digital learning plan for India. I have some points. All of you, depending upon your experience and exposure, all of us can work together, have a more comprehensive plan, and if all these things are put together, definitely we can make our digital learning a very user friendly one. Then even the less privileged, poor and weaker section of the society should be provided with the digital access on the basis of community utility. Because you cannot provide, when you are not able to do it, you can do it at the community level. You can have the panchayats, the municipalities to work for it and make it available for the poor students. Then financial, infrastructural and academic support should be made available for all the institutions right from the primary school onwards for the digital learning. Then digital learning should be accompanied with innovative approaches and research oriented. So this another thing is multilingual compatibility to mitigate problems due to linguistic barrier. Okay, we have done all these things. So now what I suggest, what I can, it may not be possible in the near future, but we have to definitely have a comprehensive digital plan in which we can make the skilling of Indian learners possible. Review committees can be constituted to review the learning process, which can evaluate and share the outcome of learning, digital learning with other institutions or universities. This will promote collaborative study among the learners and can be channelized towards the Skill India initiative. Of course, this is at the micro level. And for the macro level, what we can do is we can take these learners to collaborate with the global institutions or global universities, so that our knowledge will reach at the international level. So it will make our learning more viable at the international level also. To the extent possible, the multilingual glossaries pertaining to dialects may also be prepared. So this will enable understanding of the culture, heritage, and enjoy the flavor of various parts of our Indian soil. So when we do all these things, naturally our digital learning will become a very effective one. I thank all of you for listening to me and taking part in this. Now we can uh,
Ma'am,
share.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you,
Yeah.
Padma,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Yes. Yes, Shanti.
Participants, thanks for your patient listening. If you have any queries, you
Thank
have
you,
please
thank you.
now.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
If you have any queries, you can ask now.
So thank you so much, ma'am. And really, the session is interesting. And actually, we are living in the age of digital era. And even we make our students at present in the lockdown situation, even we can make, with the help of this, we can make our students to learn through digital library. And your explanation, it is really it is enthusiastic. As being the English department faculty, I clearly come to know about this session, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you,
Thank you.
thank
Thank you.
Any queries,
Madam,
please?
Yes,
Madam,
sir.
is
Yes.
there enough content about the management related aspects on NDLI? Because I found to be very less than quantity.
Sir, actually, we have one session exclusively for DLI in the afternoon. So please join with us. Actually, that is taken by Vignesh Mohan sir, the strict strategic and outreach officer from NDLI itself. So only I didn't touch much about it because we have one technical session. I didn't know much. Actually, we thought that this type of session will make a good introduction for the next session. Until we understand, because generally I we have completed our 1 year last year. We have seen in our Indian context,
Please, participants, your audio.
people not that much exposed to this digital learning, and they actually channel it. So when we understand to you, it is really the experience and the exposure which I got through this digital learning. I'm able to, I have shared all these things. So when we want to, already we are using everything. All of us are using the digital platform, digital things. But when we are having a plan, or when we want to take our institutions, and when we want to take our the entire country to the next phase of educational policy, we should first understand these basic things. So only we have purposefully we are having this session. Unless and until we are prepared for this type of things, we cannot achieve the digital. We cannot just talk about the portals or the learning material or this thing on a large scale. When we speak about the city students, it is okay. But you speak about the underprivileged and deprived students. For them, we have to do it. Session in the afternoon, please join with us.
What time is the second session starts, ma'am?
2:30.
Yeah, please, sir.
Thank
After
you.
we have another session by our resource person, Dr. Vignesh Swarnamohan, by 2:30
Okay,
p.m.
ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to all the participants who have joined. Thank you once again, all of you.
Hello. Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
By 2:30.
Ma'am, this is Deepa calling from Manembadi. Actually, we have installed the NDLF for the students, and this session is very good, and I'm expecting more in the afternoon. Thank you for your good presentation, ma'am.
Okay, sir. Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Shall we wind up the session?
Thank you, ma'am.
If any questions?
Thank you, ma'am.
So all of you, please.
Is there any session? Any questions? Any interactions? Can we wind up?
मेल कर देना
No, ma'am. It is very informative.
Okay, sir. Okay. We will see by 2:30.
Shanti ma'am, would you like to share anything?
No, ma'am.
Shanti ma'am?
We will wind up this. Yes, ma'am.
Really,
Hello.
I thank
Yeah, we will wind up.
Shanti ma'am. The librarian of PSDR Kusumal College for Women. Actually, her husband is also helping us, Dr. Sandil. He has been very much helpful to us in organizing this session. I would like to thank our Venugopal sir from Systems Department of our PSDR Kusumal College. I would like to thank each and everyone who has been part of this webinar. And they are making it a very useful and productive one. And thank you for your feedback, and we would like to make it more productive. We will come with more ideas in future also. Please be connected with us. Thank you one and all. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
So the afternoon session, please join with us. We have and you please